I'm a sucker for good sci-fi. I love Halo, I love Dead Space, and I love Signalis. I love the cosmic horror, I love the Sino-Soviet aesthetic, I love the deep reds, I love the Resident Evil mechanics combined with Silent Hill-esque horror, and of course, I love the guns. So today, I'm Pliskin, and this is a deep dive into the balancing and real-life equivalents of the Guns of Signalis. The first weapon we're going over today is the Type 75 Protector, a 10-round 10mm handgun modeled after a later production CZ75. The gun's nomenclature reflects Chinese doctrine, as they tend to label their guns by type, and then the corresponding patent number. Think of EVA's Type 17, or the Type 95 seen in COD. CZ75s were never made in 10mm, and unless you are using restricted 10-round magazines, it's much more likely to see a higher capacity in the real-life series of pistols. The game describes the Type 75 as easy to use with a high rate of fire, and notes that the low damage is balanced out by a, quote, large magazine capacity. The CZ75 has a great reputation for its reliability and ease of use. This is reflected in the Type 75's adherence to the high ammo availability starter survival horror pistol archetype. Even the 10-round mags are a balancing trope for the genre, also being seen in Resident Evil 7's Glock 17, Silent Hill 3/2's Beretta, and Dead Space's base-level plasma cutter. All in all, the Type 75 is a great survival horrification of the CZ75. The EU K508S Einhorn revolver is an optional sidearm that allows avid explorers an edge against enemies that utilize shields with its combination of stopping power and penetration. The revolver fires from the bottom of the cylinder rather than the top, easily identifying it as a Chiappa Rhino. Einhorn is German for unicorn, and while this doesn't tell us much about the gun, the S at the end of its designation could stand for snub-nosed. The Einhorn is chambered in 12 by 40mm rounds, which is the same caliber listed in the Halo CE manual for the M60 Magnum. The real revolver does not take this, but if I had to compare its behaviors to a real equivalent, I'd say this is a solid depiction of a 357 Magnum-esque revolver. Being a penetration powerhouse helps differentiate it from the weaker Type 75. It's hard to differentiate two non-power weapon pistols in a game, but the careful balancing of the Einhorn ensures that its place in Signalis' single-purpose sandbox is well earned. The Ein 12 Flechette is very easy to pick out as yet another video game Spaz 12. Although props need to be given to the unique sci-fi underfolding stock and orange handguard. Unique colorings on shotguns usually indicate they are meant for specialized rounds used by police forces. Considering that Sierpinski is basically a slave mine run by an authoritarian police state, specialized shotguns must be a common sight here. The 18.5mm rounds taken by the Ein 12 are dimensionally equivalent to the 12 gauge, and the game does an excellent job of explaining flechettes when the ammo description says, shells tightly packed with nail-like steel darts. In practice, the Ein 12 has more in common with Dead Space's Force gun rather than a classic Resident Evil shotgun. This is for staggering enemies rather than putting them down outright. Another single-purpose niche that the gun fits into very nicely. The 5-round capacity is fine for balancing, but I do want to mention that the tube shown here could definitely hold more shells. This may look like an ordinary MP5K with a burst fire function at first glance, but the submachine gun Elster picks up in Rot Front is actually an H&K SMG-2, a late Cold War improvement on the MP5K that features an integral suppressor, collapsible stock, and unique ergonomics. Signalis' 3-round depiction is accurate, as is its inclusion of the retractable stock. What isn't true to life is its usage of 8x22mm compact rounds. The Type 84 Drache, or Dragon, is an interesting choice for a late-game weapon. It's not bad, but I failed to see a niche carved out for it. Everything I can do with this can also be done with the Type 75 or the Einhorn, making this the only gun in the sandbox with flawed implementation in my eyes. Next up, we have the BW5 Nitro Express rifle. The ambiguous look in 16x80mm Nitro Express ammo makes an IRL inspiration impossible to identify. However, from its appearance, insane damage, and having a replica designed for warfare describe it as having recoil that, quote, feels strong enough to break your shoulder, makes me believe that this is supposed to be a sci-fi elephant gun. An elephant gun is a simple design made to handle ridiculous rounds in order to hunt the biggest game. Why Adler has this here is beyond me. Balancing wise, this is a Resident Evil Magnum. I have nothing bad to say about its balancing. Another well-balanced single-purpose weapon. The LP-265A Leuchtpistole is perhaps the coolest take on a Resident Evil grenade launcher I've seen in a video game. Described as, quote, not meant for combat, this sci-fi rendition of a Leuchtpistole 42 flare gun is one of the most effective weapons in the game. There are two ammo types: the 26.5mm signal flares that act as incendiary rounds that put a replica down and keep them down, and then there's the 26.5mm contact explosive rounds that can take out an entire group. Like grenade launchers, flare guns are incredibly versatile in regards to the usable ammunition types. Seeing this implemented into a game whilst enhancing the gun's unique balancing is a joy to see. So there you have it. Those are the guns, their balancing, and their real-life equivalents. Signalis is a really cool and unique sci-fi horror game, and it's only fitting that it features a very interesting set of weapons. I had fun going over these, but I want to know what you guys think about Signalis, its weapon balancing, and the weapons included in-game. Anyways, this has been Pliskin Boy, over and out.
This is Solid Snake. Hey, subscribe to Pliskin Boy. God damn it.
You heard him.